Wow. What's going on, guys? You're listening to the Realest podcast, and welcome to the results of WWE Battleground, SmackDown exclusive pay-per-view. Now, first off, I'm just going to say it was awful. One of the worst pay-per-views that I think I have seen. 100% the worst pay-per-view of 2017. I'm going to go on the lines of saying that was the worst one of 2017. I mean, I don't know what to say or really think. I feel like I'd be doing nothing but wasting my energy if I did nothing but complain about it. Does that make sense?
I mean, I guess. I mean, it wasn't that tonight's wrestling was bad. It was that it was just so confusing, like, to some of the finishes and why they chose to do certain things the way they did it. I mean, that's what it was for me. It was strange finishes that didn't really make sense.
It just through everything, it was awful. The women's match was worst. Lana, oh my goodness.
Well, Lana's, the people's champ, so.
The botches she made, man.
Yeah. Well, I think they need to go back to the drawing board with Lana. They really need to give her some more training, because clearly she's not ready for what she's got going on here.
She botched one kick, or actually two kicks in a row. Were absolutely awful. This pay-per-view altogether was just sad. It really was. Every single bit of it was awful. I mean, you're not joking. It did suck.
What is that, Chris in the background?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know what to really say. Because what is there to say about this?
I think that SmackDown really needs to go back to the drawing board and really think about some of the things that they've.
Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I really think that they need to rethink some of their methods going forward, because clearly what they're doing right now is not working.
The big thing that I'll say is that, and if this doesn't show that they need to do something creatively and how bad the creative team has changed this brand, I mean, from WrestleMania to now, SmackDown has gotten worse every week. AJ Styles and Kevin Owens wrestled their ass off. That wasn't a good match. The ending I didn't agree with, but I guess they're going to build that to SummerSlam.
Wait, I'm confused. What was it about the ending that was so weird? Because, I mean, it was a really shitty roll-up. And it was just like he'd even try to kick out.
It wasn't. I don't think it was a roll-up. I think AJ thought that he put him into a finisher. And it was one of those situations where I guess you could say he thought the ref was still down. Or, it was one of those, like, I was in the middle of doing something, I totally didn't think about my shoulders being down type of situations. Because there's been plenty of times where, we've gotten caught up in doing something else that we forget to do, another important step. So, I feel like for the past, for the past 3 hours, I was nothing but awful television. Like, I hated every single minute of watching that pay-per-view.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't think the wrestling was bad. I thought the wrestling was decent. Especially the Usos and the New Day. I was surprised by the finish. I know I called it, but I was very surprised by the finish. But man, did you see that kick? Did you see that kick that Xavier Woods took?
Yeah, off the top rope.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
like
that was good.
For him to get there, he basically baseball slide kicked him. Like he kicked when his face was almost on the ground.
Yeah. I think the tag team match was the only highlight of the night.
But you know, look at that. I mean, New Day walks away with the championships.
Yeah, 2 title changes tonight out of 3. U.S. title. It was a heel night. Heels got more over than faces did tonight.
We still don't know who the mystery tag team is.
No, they totally mess with us.
And
English beats Ty Dillinger.
I know. I was just about to say that. Like that was crazy. I guess they're trying to set it up so that it's like, all right, I won 1 now, you won 1 now. We gonna finish this at SummerSlam, type deal. But you know,
they could.
That's what it looks like. It looks like they're trying to make it like a best of 3 series going, and you know, just finish it off between the 2 of them at like SummerSlam.
Yeah, I hope we don't see Randy Orton versus Jinder Mahal anymore.
No, we won't.
We
won't. That's it. There's no way they're make those 2 go up against each other anymore. You're probably gonna see, in all honesty, Great Khali versus Orton, which I'm not looking forward to seeing at all.
I don't understand why they get Khali back.
That was the biggest surprise of the night. I never even considered that.
It was a surprise, but it was one of those surprises that's like, oh. You know?
For a second there, I mean, he came out with Jinder's music, which kind of like
that threw
automatically,
me off.
Yeah, like it automatically suggested it to be for Mahal. But I was like, you know what? You know, he might help Orton. Goes out and starts choking Orton. I'm like, oh, bless you. I'm like, oh, never mind.
Yeah. When his music hit, I sat there for a little bit and I looked over at Chris and said, "That's Great Khali's going to come out." Sure enough, he did. Woohoo. Great Khali.
Well, the problem with Khali, and like this is the problem with the guys that are that big. It's just that there's not much you could do with them. Like Big Khali or Great Khali here has like pretty much dominated anybody, and you know, to bring him back, like the only person I could see him really feuding with, and like actually making a legit feud with is Braun Strowman.
Right.
I mean, like, for the sheer size of him. And, of course, in that circumstance, you're going to want Braun Strowman to go over on the Khali, for sure.
Yeah, I'm not even I wouldn't even look forward to that. I just, man. I hate when pay-per-views are like this because I'm so down over it. I'm just not interested in, you know. I mean, I'll be straight. Like, I'm not interested in talking about it. I think that us talking about it is just giving it more credit than what it actually was.
Right. I don't know.
You know, Shinsuke...
I could definitely hear that you're not excited for the match and or for the pay-per-view, and yeah, I don't blame you. I mean, like, I was watching, I was kind of like, this is terrible, but you know, at the same time, I enjoyed watching it. Like, I enjoyed the wrestling part of it. You know, there's things that had me like 100% ready to like yell at the TV for, like that flag on the pole match. And don't even get me started about that thing. You're gonna hear me about that worse than anything I've ever ranted about.
I didn't even think any of that. Like, the wrestling, in my opinion, wasn't even that great.
Well, that was probably one of the worst matches I've ever seen John Cena in. I'm gonna put that out.
I'm talking about the whole pay-per-view. Other than the tag team match in AJ Styles and Kevin Owens, I didn't think that the wrestling was that great. I didn't think that Shinsuke Nakamura and Baron Corbin was that good.
I don't know.
I think
I kind of
Shinsuke's
enjoy
0 for 2 in pay-per-view matches for being good. He hasn't had a good match yet since coming to the main roster.
No, he hasn't been. He wasn't pinned though, and I think that's what they're trying to do is keep him unpinned, leading into SummerSlam.
Well, what's he gonna do for SummerSlam? Because it's not like he can go for a title. Baron Corbin again? Please no.
Kevin Owens.
No, because that's gonna be AJ. I'd be really surprised if they don't have that third and final match at SummerSlam. Or have AJ win it, and then on that next Tuesday, the United States Championship's on the line again.
I would not give the title back to Styles. No, because at that point they're going to be playing Russian roulette with the titles, and I'm not cool with that. No. I don't know what creative is thinking about having AJ drop the title. I had a feeling that like something happened tonight which made them decide to make him drop the title. Like, when he came down on his shoulder, he looked like he was really hurting. So I was like, oh, man, please tell me he didn't get hurt. And then, sure enough, you get that little weird-ass finish. And it's like, oh, looks like AJ Styles is really hurt.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I hope that's not the case, but I don't know. When you have a finish like that, you have to think, like, what happened that made that finish the way it is, especially since he just won the title 2 weeks ago.
You won it at a house show at MSG, and like I said on the prediction show, if he's to lose the title, I don't understand the point of having him drop it again at a pay-per-view, or what was the point of Kevin Owens dropping it?
I mean, it seems like they just wanted to give AJ Styles another title under his belt, and that's it. At least from our perspective now. It's like, what the heck was the point of that title reign?
I think if AJ wins it if he does win at SummerSlam, like, I don't mind AJ having that title. And I get if they are playing, the swapping back and forth to continue a feud, I get why they're doing it. It's just, I don't get the point of building up the number one contender in this Battle Royale faces the United States Champion Kevin Owens. At Battleground, go to a house show. AJ wins, okay. And then at Battleground, Kevin Owens wins. It's like, okay, like, what?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't even know if we should talk about this so-called flag match because of how bad that was.
Oh, don't get me started on that. I'm so glad. Like, I'm so glad my father was not watching that at the time, because I went to his room just to see what his reaction was, and I told him not even to bother to watch it. I told him not to even tune in, because for those of you who don't know anything about my father, he's a veteran, and like one of the first things that you know about veterans is they're very prideful when it comes to the American flag, and I'm not even going to just say it was the American flag. It was the Bulgarian flag as well. You should never, ever, 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 ever have any nation's flag touch the ground, which it did multiple times in that match. And it stayed on the ground for like 10 to 15 minutes at a time. That's completely disrespectful. I don't know what the hell WWE was thinking. Like, if they're not getting massive hate mail from veterans right now, I'll be surprised.
It is true. It is,
It's completely disgraceful, and it should not have happened. As soon as I heard that they had to take it to the ramp, I'm like, oh no.
I don't like, man. They climbed that turnbuckle as if it was a ladder.
Yeah.
You're just like, why is this so slow?
I know. You don't do it that slow on any other occasion.
And of course, Cena wins. It was so bad. That was
Super Cena.
That was probably one of the worst pay-per-view matches I have seen John Cena in.
That match was so bad. I was praying that Roman Reigns came out and speared everyone.
It would have been one of those moments where, like, we're okay with it. We're cheering Roman on. Thank you, Roman. Thank you.
Thank you, Roman. That's all you're going to hear.
Yeah. I really do hope that Cena also thinks that was bad, and it does nothing but make me sit here and think, okay, I'm not a fan of Rusev. Like it makes me dislike Rusev even more than I already do.
How so?
I mean, every feud he's been in has been awful. Every feud he's been in has been absolutely awful. Since he lost that United States Championship, it's been awful. Back at WrestleMania, what was it, 30 or 31?
Well, I think a big part of that has to do with the fact that they book Rusev the exact same way. Almost every single time you see Rusev, it's a America versus Bulgaria conflict. It's never anything else. It's like the only other time we've ever seen anything different out of Rusev feuds was a feud with Enzo Amore. Think about that.
Mm-hmm.
The feud with Enzo Amore was more in depth than any other thing that they've done with Rusev.
Yeah.
In which it had something to do with Lana.
Yeah.
Like that's bad. It's not that they can't find something good for him. It's that they refuse to change the formula on Rusev. It's the same thing every single time, which is why you're not interested in it.
Yeah.
I mean, who wants to go and see the same thing over and over again? It's repetitive.
Yeah, and rumor has it that Mr. God, what's his name? Shane McMahon's going to be facing off against Rusev at SummerSlam.
That'll be interesting.
No, that wouldn't be interesting at all.
No, it'd be interesting because I'm kind of curious how they're going to swing that. Like, why? Why do that?
Yeah.
It makes absolutely no sense. Why? Because Shane hasn't talked to him on Twitter.
Yeah, I don't, dude. I'm so lost with this pay-per-view. Only 2 matches were good, man. I'd give it a 3.
A 3's
Cena shouldn't have lost because Cena's too big of a name, and Cena's a top player and a top guy, like a top guy. So
you know, at this point, I hope Roman retires at Mania. I really do.
You don't want to have Cena have a you don't want to put Cena in a big match at SummerSlam and then say, well, like, let's say he was to go on and face Brock Lesnar or something. Now, this won't happen, and I'm not saying that, oh, I'm predicting this. It's not going to happen. I'm just using this as an example. Let's say that he goes off and faces off Brock Lesnar, and, like, why would you allow him to face Brock Lesnar? He literally lost to Rusev in a flag match. In Rusev, it doesn't, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't help any of them. I honestly don't think that Cena buried Rusev. I think Creative buried Rusev by themselves.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go on and say that it was Cena that did that. You know, creatively, that's the booking, and that's what happened. It has nothing to do with Cena.
And I mean, you've seen, like, Rusev in most of his feuds, he comes out on top. The only time he's really not really come out on top is with Cena, honestly. You look back at most of his feuds, Cena's the one he doesn't come back on top with.
Well, you also can't forget, most of that entire match was Rusev in control.
Yeah.
Rusev doesn't need to push
it's a typical
to
Rusev
prove himself.
match.
I don't think that Rusev is all that great. I haven't thought that Rusev hasn't been that great, and I've covered him for now almost 2 years. I don't think he's that great. Then again, it could be creative, but anything with Rusev.
I think a big part of it is creative because, like I said, they're not mixing up his storylines at all. It's the same thing over and over again. Not only that, but they're using an old formula with him. It's the formula that they always use and have used for decades, and that's the idea that you have the patriot versus the foreigner.
Which I hate that they make Cena they play like. If I was a casual person and I just watched John Cena, I would honestly go off and think that John Cena was a veteran, the way he presents himself with it.
Yeah.
And I'm not saying that it bothers me to a point where I think that they should stop making him being patriotic, because it doesn't. Part of me likes it that they are being patriotic to the United States of America, but it's
And
sometimes
keep in mind they've done this before. They've done this with.
but sometimes it just
So
gets
this isn't
really
just a Cena thing.
it just get yeah. I mean, Hogan was like the face of America,
Yeah.
but it gets old. It gets old real fast.
And I think that's what we're seeing here, honestly.
Man, and that Punjabi prison match was awful too.
I was excited for it. I was. I gotta stop getting excited for things.
What's
I'm
next
excited for
Cena?
Samoa Joe. I'm excited for Brock Lesnar. Excited for the Punjabi prison match. All just bust.
I didn't think that Joe and Lesnar was all as bad as you make it out to be, though.
I know. It just I wanted it to be more than what it was.
And what's next for Cena? I would have to say the next thing for John Cena is if from what I'm reading, it's going to be Mahal versus Cena, and if that does happen, I'm pretty sure we'll either see Baron Corbin cash in, or we'll see Cena put over Mahal and continue his losing streak at SummerSlam. Again, he's lost every SummerSlam, I think, starting off with CM Punk.
Now, see, this is where I get upset, because tonight was the perfect opportunity for Corbin to cash in. Out of all the nights, all the matches, that was the perfect thing to cash in on. Orton was injured. He had a shoulder injury, and the Great Khali came out. Now, when he started shaking that cage, and how Orton was already halfway over that cage, I was like, all right, so he's going to fall out, and Khali's going to catch him and throw him up against the cage, and he's going to win by mistake. Great Khali, is going to be doing something with Orton. I could see that happening. All of a sudden, Khali destroys Orton, the new champion, and Corbin comes out and cashes in. But instead you have the opposite, and I was kind of like, because now you go to SummerSlam, and it's like, say Orton beats Mahal, right? And essentially what's going to happen, and this is what it seems like it's leaning towards, Cena's going to have to take on the Singh brothers, going to have to take on Mahal and Great Khali at the same time. Which, of course, is a 100% a Cena thing to do. If anyone's going to do it, there's only one other person that can beat all four of them, and that's Roman. But, what they're going to work it into is they're going to have the four of them basically beat the hell out of Cena. Cena's going to somehow win, and then Corbin's going to cash in on him. And I'm like, this would have been much better if they'd done it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, where Orton's all banged up because he was in this brutal Punjabi prison match, as opposed to Cena getting ganged up by four people.
I just want to state that John Cena is 4-9 at SummerSlam, and he has lost every match at SummerSlam since 2011. The last match that he won at SummerSlam, I don't know. You guys tell me. I have it right here. If you guys can tell me what match, without looking it up, if you look it up, you guys have until midnight East Coast to tell me who John Cena beat in 2010 SummerSlam. Do you have any idea who it is?
Jinder Mahal.
It wasn't Jinder Mahal.
No.
I would say it was either Orton or Edge.
No, it was not.
No?
No. Actually, Orton and Cena are 1-1 at SummerSlam, and Edge is 1-0 over Orton at SummerSlam, or over Cena. Well, interesting fact. Also, in the comments section, if you're listening to this after we're live, be sure to tune in. Be sure to tell us in the comments who you think, or just skip ahead and find out when. But, I mean, if it is Mahal, I do see Cena. Like I said, Cena's going to get a win, or either a win/lose because of the possibility of a cash-in. Like I said, I think there will be a cash-in at SummerSlam. I really do. Well, I said a possibility. I didn't say that tonight was going to happen, because you can ask Andrew. I said from the get-go, I honestly thought
Stepped on a gecko?
I saw Carmella cashing in around SummerSlam, and I saw what's his name, Corbin cashing in around Mania. That's, if I'm not mistaken, that's my exact call. And
Right.
and the time is up. The last time that John Cena won at a SummerSlam was whenever Team Cena faced off against Team Nexus.
Hmm.
So, yeah, I think we're gonna end it on that. I mean, just honestly, through thick and thin, it was a piss poor pay-per-view.
No, and Mike Canales lost. Whoa,
Yeah,
Sami Zayn.
Great debut pay-per-view for Canales.
Yeah,
Great job.
the future is bright for Mike Canales.
Absolutely. But with that being said, I think that's gonna do it for us. I gotta get my phone charger. So, we will not be doing any shows this week. I'm going to be out of town. So, not this coming up week, but next week we'll be back and being live. So, be sure to tune in then. So, for Andrew, I'm Blake Carter. Until next time, peace out.